Okay. Thank you for joining us for this last-minute meeting here so we could take care of some things before school starts. Mr. Dolan.
Thank you very much, President Zachary. Very quickly, we're very excited. Tomorrow's opening day. Our students are coming back. We will be, following all the mandates. I would just like to say one thing to our, a big thank you to all our construction people. We took on a tremendous amount of work at the beginning of the summer. And, we still have some finishing touches, and as we speak, they are working, but we will be up, running, functional, and ready to go. And we're very excited for the 2021-2022 school year. So, we'll say more on September 22nd, but we're ready to go.
Thank you, sir. Okay, be resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the resignations, terminations, leaves of absence, position abolitions, employment appointments, tenure appointments, and salary changes in accordance with the applicable provisions of education law and civil service law as cited in the certified personnel attachments. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the resignations, terminations, leaves of absence, position abolitions, employment appointments, tenure appointments, and salary changes in accordance with applicable provisions of education law and civil service law as cited in the non-certified personnel attachments. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Whereas on January 20th, 2021, the East Islip Union Free School District awarded a contract to Eldor Electrical Construction for the middle school locker room and building upgrades in the amount of $275,800. Whereas the district's architect, H2M Architect and Engineers, submitted a change order in the amount of $13,429.19 to furnish and install 2 retrofit electrical panels. Whereas Park East Construction, in conjunction with H2M, recommend to the superintendent of schools that change order number 1 be approved as submitted. Now therefore be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby approves change order E1 for middle school locker room and building upgrades, thereby increasing the contract sum for the project by the amount of $13,429.19. And be it further resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the President of the Board of Education to execute change order E1 on behalf of the Board of Education. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any old business?
Mr. Dolan, have we had a response from the dear governor about our letter?
No, we haven't gotten a response from the governor's office, but we have had a number of responses, positive responses in terms of the direction that we're headed, and we also know that there are other districts across the state that are advocating for the same thing, and that is, they told us we have to put masks on. Would they give us a target number when, of the positivity rate when we can then, go mask optional or restaurant style?
So when you send a letter like that, do they send you, hey, we received it kind of message, or just it goes into a pile or something? Do you know that they got it? That's what I'm asking.
They sometimes they send an acknowledgement, sometimes
Okay.
they don't. And at this particular time, we have to cut our elected officials slack because we do know they're getting a tremendous amount of correspondence right now. But we will resend it again, so just to make sure it's there.
Okay.
And I believe for staff, the direction is that they are to be vaccinated or tested each week. Is that correct right now?
They actually called the legislators back to Albany today. There's a tremendous amount of discussion. I think our approach is when an order is executed, they're going to have to give us the time to implement whatever they order us to do. So, I think last year we got ourselves into, we spun our wheels a lot trying to predict what was going to happen. We're going to, this year, and I'm talking about, the Islip cluster of school districts, Suffolk County, we're taking each, mandate as it comes. So there has been no official directive on that as of yet.
So would the staff be testing in school, out of school, on school? We have no idea what if there's any mandate at all concerning.
And again, the lines of communication seem to be much better than with the previous governor. So, we're hopeful that whatever, if they try to mandate anything in that area, it'll come with, a specific, this is when it's done, this is how it's done. And with anything else, if they give us some sort of, mandate or directive, they're going to have to give us time to implement it, because we just can't snap our fingers. I'll make the plea now. We're looking for substitute teachers. We're looking for aides and substitute aides. If you're a young person out there considering teaching as a career, it's a great way to get experience. Classroom aide, you can go and, interview and have some, you can give some really firsthand accounts of working with kids. If you're retired and you want something to do part-time, and this is not just East Islip, it's across the state. We're struggling. That's why I said in the beginning, we got an awful lot of construction work done at a time when we don't have enough workers. So, if you're interested, go to the website, fill out an application. And again, if we get mandated to do certain things, we will, build a system. We proved it last year. Every time they threw something at us, we were able to make it work, which is a tribute to the folks that work here.
Well, that reminds me, big thank you out to our custodial staff. If you would have seen these buildings just a month ago, you'd say there's no way. With all the work that was done, a big thank you for them putting in the time and getting that done and getting schools ready for school and the kids, because that was a job and a half, and they did a great job, so thank you. Any other old business?
How are we dealing with music in the cafeteria? Because the first directive was 6 feet, now it's 3 feet? And how did that change, or why that changed?
Look, and Paul, maybe you can help me out with this. I don't want to say the wrong thing. The music departments in each school, did a fantastic job last year of accommodating. So, like I said, I don't want to misspeak or say the wrong thing. Suffice it to say, music is up and ready to go within the mandates and the guidelines. And again, much better place than last year. If you remember last year, we weren't allowed. We really didn't have music at the beginning of the year. So,
but originally, right, when the mandate was issued this year, for this school year, it was 6 feet for music in the cafeteria, correct? So now it's been changed, correct?
It's been changed to the extent possible.
And what brought about that change? Do we know why that change was made? Like, they sent out a directive and then they changed
I
it. Does
thought a
anyone
lot
know?
of schools said they couldn't have everybody in school if they maintain those distances. So therefore, to have kids in
okay.
5 days.
All right.
the
They said you
exact
could
it actually came
Okay.
from a lawyer in the governor's office. What was said was that in-school instruction is the goal, is the number one priority. So physical distancing mandates should not preclude in-school instruction.
All right,
So
I
the
was just
places where it was a challenge, cafeterias and, the music department. So, the teachers and, the staff have a plan, we're ready to go. So that's where I think some of the confusion came from.
Okay.
Mr. Dolan, do you know why the band is 6 feet but the orchestra's 3 feet?
I believe it's because and percussion is 3 feet. When you have to blow into the instrument, that's why that's where the 6 feet came from. And the orchestra, it doesn't involve the breathing portion, because when you're playing the other instruments, you have to drop your mask.
I'm glad people are giggling because it's so ridiculous. All right, go on. I'm done. Done complaining. My adrenaline. You got my adrenaline going. Told you.
Any new business?
I got 2 new business real quick. Number one, football coach. What's going on with that?
We're looking.
Okay, so are we gonna have to meet again? Like, how are we gonna do that?
No, we can. I think we're going to be able to. If we can find a candidate, we'll be able to move forward and then appoint him backwards.
Gotcha. And the other thing was, there are a few states who are investigating, and some of them, like Utah, Massachusetts is starting it, and Maryland is thinking about it. I think it would be in our best interest to maybe lobby our Suffolk County Department of Health for some sort of test-to-stay system so that kids who get quarantined, healthy, asymptomatic kids who get quarantined, have the opportunity to come back to school and not miss so much school time. Because we're gonna get into a situation possibly where we're gonna be forcing kids who are not sick to miss school again, and that's just as bad as, you just said, you know, the most important thing is getting kids in the building, so you know, we have a good relationship with Suffolk County Department of Health. Maybe we can say, hey, we'd like to be a pilot of this test and stay program. I know some states do it. It's 5 days. The kid pre-tests before he comes to school. If he's negative, he goes back every day for 5 days, and then it's over. Some are 7, some are 2 weeks, some are 10. If we can just investigate that, see what they say, you know, one more letter to, you know, we would like to be the pilot for that. I just don't want to see kids who are, we've already had a bunch of quarantines for an unfortunate contact. So just would like to see if we could do something to better that situation. That's all.
I think that's a project that if you're up to it, you and I could work on it together.
Yeah. Some phone calls?
We can, you know, we'll do the research, make the phone calls. Again, I think the one thing that everybody is unified. We want our kids in school together, and we want them to be safe and healthy. You know, there's some differing opinions on how that should happen, but one of the things that we are hearing again, and I'm hearing this, you know, through my meetings and associations, that they're listening. They're listening in Albany, and they are, you know, they're meeting and they're trying to come up with, they're trying to clear pathways for us to be together safely. So, and I think they appreciate, again, like the letter that we sent. It was a letter offering a solution. It wasn't saying do this, do that. It was a solution. What you're proposing in terms of testing, because they are talking, there's, you know, it sounds like there's money available. You know, I think that I don't think there's a person in this community that would disagree with us working on a project that gets kids in school safely. So you and I could, it'd be like doing, we could have like, it's like a science fair project, you and I.
Okay. Yeah, anyone else want to get involved in it? Thanks.
I'll get involved.
Thanks.
Mr. Rowland's gonna have to be the mediator.
If only you could see my face under this mask.
I just have one other thing for new business. I don't like RCK Mom asked me today if there's any possibility that we could possibly have a security guard at the walkover bridge during dismissal of RCK. The security guard is there for middle school and high school, but not the elementary.
Wow, good question.
So if somebody could be in that area for the few kids that do meet their parents on the other side of the bridge, just have somebody at the base on this side.
All right, we'll look into it.
I don't know how many kids it affects, but it was brought to my attention. Thank you.
Any other new business? Okay, I see Anthony came in. Anthony, just a minute, we thanked you and your staff for all the work you did to get our schools ready. We saw what it looked like a few weeks ago, and so thank you and your staff for everything you did to get the schools ready for the kids. All right, thank you. They did. Please thank them for us. Much appreciated. Okay, with no new business, the next Board of Education regular business meeting will be held on Wednesday, September 22nd at 8 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?